Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Nikita Uggla about Season 2 of Young Royals, dropping worldwide on Netflix November 1st. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I mean, it feels like Season 1 came out a long time ago. We're finally getting Season 2. Isn't it crazy how Season 2 is coming out pretty soon?
I know, it's super crazy. I like almost like forgot about Season 2 because we filmed it and it's been such a bubble. And now it's like almost here. It's like just a few days. It's crazy. It's amazing.
It's so crazy. Now, Young Royals Season 1 was your first acting role, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
So how was it kind of transitioning, like going into Season 2? Because I just feel like the mindset would be completely different because you kind of knew what to expect a little bit from Season 1. So what was that like compared to Season 1 filming Season 2, Nikita?
It was like a little bit more comfortable because you knew what you were getting into. And like, of course, we knew our characters better and we knew the place where we were filming. So everything like, it was a lot more fun because you could like experiment a little bit more because you knew what your character was feeling, thinking, and like you knew all of the grounds way more now. It was amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't even imagine all the emotions like for Season 1. But again, I do feel like Season 2 it's continuing the story and everything, but there's a lot different, like a lot happens in Season 2, right? Like it feels like a lot of episodes are different.
So I always say because like I don't want to jinx anything, but I feel like Season 2 is it's amazing, and without jinxing anything. But yeah, it's been crazy, but it happens so much more. And since we know the characters from Season 1, we can go deeper into Season 2, like with everyone.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's gonna be a whole roller coaster ride for
The
everyone.
world is so excited for Season 2 of Young Royals. Season 1 was a huge smash hit on Netflix worldwide. People from all over the world. I find this really interesting because Sweden, population-wise, is a small country.
Yeah.
It's pretty small. I feel like people don't realize that sometimes. And this show from Sweden is so big globally, all around the world. Isn't that pretty crazy to think about too? Do you talk about that a little bit with your family and friends?
Yeah, I mean it's crazy and it's so much fun, but I think it's all like thanks to all of the creators of
Yeah.
behind the show because it's such a good like it's a good script, it's good directing, it's good filming, it's good actors, like everything is done with such passion.
Yes.
And I feel like everything of that goes through the series. So I feel like it's a whole different vibe and energy going into it. So I feel like everyone that looks at this series can feel it too.
Felice is up to a lot in Season 2. We'll get to the character specifically. I just want to go back to the first question about how that, like, Young Royals was, like, your first acting experience. What kind of drove you towards the idea of being, like, an actor and a storyteller specifically?
You know, I've always been into the cultural things.
Yeah.
I've always danced and played piano since I was 4. My mom works at like a kulturskola where they have like all of these instruments that kids can go and learn. So, and I've also done musicals, like
Yes.
amateur musicals, since I was like 9 or 10. So it was always a passion of mine. Uh, and then I got the opportunity to do it like for real, for real. So
Okay.
amazing. It's been amazing.
And sometimes you don't even plan for things like that, eh, Nikita? Sometimes it kind of just like you have ideas and it just kind of happens, right?
Exactly, 'cause I didn't plan for this to get this job. I actually moved to Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden,
Yep.
from like the southern of Sweden to study health and anything like that. And then all of a sudden they called me and was like, "Can you audition for this series?" And I was like, "Okay." I will do it. And then I got it. So everything turned around. Like I turned a 360 on my whole life and just like, you know what? I'm gonna keep on doing this. Okay.
How far is Gothenburg from Stockholm? The
Uh,
reason I ask that is I'm a big music fan and I love a lot of heavy metal and a lot of metal, and there's a lot of amazing bands, a lot of death metal from Gothenburg. So I listen to a lot of bands. I'm just curious. Is it like a couple hours away?
yeah, a couple
Okay.
hours away. I'm like embarrassingly bad at like geography.
But it's like
So
it's not
like
like that close.
yeah, it's like 3 hours away
Okay.
maybe in
Yeah, there's
train.
some of my favorite bands have come from that area. There's a band I listen to all the time called In Flames. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I
Ooh.
know. It's so awesome. But
You
that
should come
whole
to
area. Dark there's another one called Dark Tranquility. There's a bunch from that area that are very good. From Sweden. So shout out to Gothenburg death metal. Um, but Felice, listen, this is a character that I feel like in this season, we don't want to go into too much spoilers. And I find it's difficult sometimes doing these interviews, right? Because you don't want to say much, right? But I will say, and I want to know if you agree with me, I feel like she is more independent and doing her own thing in season 2. Do you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I agree. I feel
Okay.
like this in the season two is a little bit more comfortable in her
Yep.
own skin. I feel like she's gotten into her own, which makes her like a good friend to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone this season. I feel like she's way more like secure in herself.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
And how would you describe Felice? Because this is 2 seasons now of playing this character. So I feel like the beginning, you're kind of trying to understand this character, what's going on. She's obviously kind of changed a little bit from season 1 to season 2, but I feel like you can kind of get the identity a little bit after playing her for 2 seasons. How would you describe this character specifically?
I would describe her as a loyal friend,
Yeah.
very loyal, uh, but a little bit like close-minded sometimes as well. She
Mm-hmm.
doesn't see the bigger picture, but she's a very loyal and good friend, and she's a nice girl. She's a little bit misunderstood sometimes, I think.
Absolutely. I see a little bit of the Young Royals poster in the back, and you see
Yeah,
August. That
I have.
is great. Malte, man, can we just talk? Like, I see it on social media all the time, right? Like, Malte, like his, because he has curly hair, but in the show, it's like slick back. Like, August has a crazy head of hair, right?
Yeah, it's so different. I love Malta's curls though. They're so cute. But this poster is actually from when we had like a press day, and
Yeah.
I actually took it with me home. So it's like this big ass poster, and I just have it like over my sofa here.
That's a
So,
big, by the way, I mean, no spoilers, but August, big season for August, right? Like this season, August is, there's a lot happening with Malte's character this season too.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
I feel like a lot of people have a lot kind of happening in this. I feel like it's a lot of growth and everything. And that's my next question specifically because I feel like there's a lot of important messages. There's a lot happening in Young Royals that I think makes it the popular series that it is, Nikita. So I'm just curious with so many kind of elements, so many messages, so many like relationships happening and all these things. In your opinion, what makes the show stand out? Like what elements make it stand out specifically?
I mean, we're teenagers
Yeah.
series,
Hmm.
and I feel like we go through, even though they are very, very rich,
Hmm.
and I understand that people don't live those kind of lives,
Yeah.
but there's still normal feelings. We
Yeah.
go through the same feelings as every teenager does. And I feel like, especially with season two, I feel like we open up a lot more, where I feel like everyone should learn from the
Hmm.
series and see the bigger picture because you never know what people go through. Because, like with August and everyone, Ville, Simon, Sara, Felice, and everyone else, we all have our own stories.
Yep.
And I feel like if you open up and don't judge people so fast, you can see the bigger picture and maybe a little bit understand a little bit more of their backgrounds. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's something I say to people, like try and see the bigger picture of people around you, and take in and read the room and read their life situation maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and me both. I can't wait for people to see season 2. It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited.
it's it's gonna be crazy. Um, in terms of kind of being on set for season 2, I'm just curious. I mean, a lot of the scenes are like at the academy and everything, but there are some scenes that seem to be maybe like night. Like, how many night shoots were there? How many, like, was it a lot of days like at the school? Like, what was that like filming like for season 2 specifically?
I mean, we did like a few 1 or 2 weeks
Yeah.
where we shot nights,
Okay.
and those are always a little bit interesting.
Oh, they get crazy, right? Long nights, people probably playing practical jokes on people.
You get so tired and you have to like stay awake. So everyone, you know, where you pass the point where you're like too tired to care, and like everything is funny. Like sometimes when you reach that point, you're just standing there and someone says like, I have had one day where we were doing a scene and someone from the lighting department came in and was like, "Can I have a floppy? Can I have a floppy?" And I was like, "Sorry, what did you say?" And I couldn't stop laughing at this word
A
floppy.
floppy?
Floppy is like a lighting thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never heard it before, and it was so funny because I was a little bit too tired, you know.
And he's just asking a question. He's just doing his job. He wants a floppy.
Yeah,
And you're
and I was like, "A floppy? Oh, what? Sorry," and started like hysterically laughing, crying.
Did he start laughing because you were laughing?
No, no, she actually it was a girl,
Oh,
and
did she laugh? Did she laugh too, or was she just kind of like, "What is happening right
yeah,
now?"
yeah, yeah. I was asking what is a floppy, and then she like explained it to me, and I think she thought it was funny that I thought it was so funny too.
Okay, good.
So,
Okay.
but it's very funny to shoot like nights, and when we're all there, it's so much fun because we can like sit down and talk when we're waiting,
Yeah.
and like everyone is like cuddled up sometimes, just like taking care of each other, talking, catching up, and
Oh,
everything.
totally.
Like a little family.
It's so funny. I'll do interviews sometimes where people talk about like funny things that happen on set and everything, and then I'll be like, "This must have been a night shoot," and they're like, "Yep, it wasn't."
Yeah.
I mean, I did an interview also with Malte, and I asked him about like funny things or funny things that happen. He says it's always a blur. Like there's always a lot of funny things that happen, but you can't remember a lot of them. But the only thing he said is that there was one day you guys saw moose.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was so many mooses. Oh my god! And there was like all these baby moose that was going around the whole like premises. I don't know where it came from, and all of a sudden it was like just standing in the road, and we was like, we can't go by it, and it's just standing there.
Yeah.
It's a crazy night, and everyone was like so tired, and all of these mooses were around. Oh, it
Did
was
it
crazy.
feel like I know a lot of you keep in touch and everything, and there's some events here and there, but I know a lot of people were working and everything. But like, how long was it between season 1 and season 2 for certain people that you haven't seen each other? Was it a year? Like, did it feel like it was just yesterday when you got back with people for season 2, or did it feel like, wow, like I haven't seen you all in a long, long time?
You know, because for such a different thing to work and then
Yeah.
to meet someone at like an event.
Yes.
We run into each other all the time.
Okay.
But like, when we got back, for me at least, when we got back to filming and everyone was there, it was like I felt like we kind of collected our little family again.
Okay.
Like everyone was there, I could relax. Because when you meet outside, like if at an event,
Yeah.
it's so much more hectic and there's a lot of people there. You can't catch up in the same way. So it's a bit different, but it felt like I hadn't seen anyone in like a year, but I
Wow.
hadn't actually seen them in like a few weeks. But yeah.
It's I feel like it's always going to be crazy. I feel like with the pandemic has made things feel like a lot longer too. Like I do some interviews and I'm like, I feel like I haven't, like the last time we did an interview was like 4 or 5 years ago. And then I look and it was only like last year.
Yeah. But it's so crazy the time, like how time feels so much longer with the pandemic and everything.
It's like November 1st in like a couple of days.
Yeah.
Like
It's crazy. I almost forget. I always forget that it's like so soon that we released. My brother texted me like last night. He was like, "Oh my god, are you excited for like Tuesday?" And I was like, "Huh?
Yeah, what's
Tuesday?
Tuesday? Yeah.
November 1st." I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Super excited, just a little bit confused with the time.
I know, it's so crazy. Nikita, thank you for joining me on Popternative. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, season 2, November 1st
Yeah.
on Netflix, dropping worldwide, Young Royals. Your Instagram account, I believe, is just your name, right? Nikita Uggla?
Yeah.
Okay. And if they just put Nikita Uggla, they'll find it. I don't know. I find sometimes like the handles are different, but I think yours is just Nikita Uggla, right?
It is. It is.
All right, perfect. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. You, of course, will be able to catch Nikita Uggla as Felice in season 2 of Young Royals, dropping worldwide on Netflix November 1st. Until next time, this is Nikita and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.